Hello, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. If you're new here, my name is Chloe and I sell second-hand clothing online as like a full-time job. It's what I do to earn a wage. Today's video is going to be what items I actually sold to earn that money. I have done these videos in the past and gotten quite decent feedback from it, so just let me know in the comments whether you actually enjoy them, because they take a long time to edit, but it's completely worth it if people are enjoying them. I love watching sold videos. I find them really informative. Haul videos are great. They're really good to watch like while you're working and things, but I want to see what's actually sold, what's actually made people money, because those are the items that I'm going to be looking out for when I'm outsourcing. So hopefully you find this video helpful because of that. I've done all of the figures again like I did the last few times because I got some good feedback. So I've got the fees, the cost of goods, obviously what it sold for, and then the profit that I got, and whether or not the item was promoted. I do promoted listings on all of my items. I do 3%. I think it's beneficial, but obviously it just depends whether you want to spend that extra money or not. It works well for me, and when I've turned off promoted listings, I've noticed a decline in sales. And I think paying that extra 3%, if it's going to net me a sale, is completely worth it. But I know some people are really against it, so just do what works best for you in your business. Like, you don't have to copy other people or do the same as other people. Do what works for you personally. So I've got 25 sales to share with you. I'm going to whip through it like really quickly, and I will put all of the figures on screen. There will be a picture of this item that I'm talking about up on screen, and I've got my eBay book with all of my figures written down in. So if you see me looking down at the book, that is why, because I am checking to make sure that I'm saying the right numbers. So yeah, we will crack on and get right into it. I just want to preface this video with how dire sales have been for us lately, but that is because we had a baby not so long ago. So I essentially took maternity leave. We put the eBay shop on holiday mode for, I want to say 10 days, something like that. And it took me about 3 weeks before I actually started dipping my toes back into work. We are now on week 5 and I'm still only working definitely part-time hours, but maybe not even that. I'm really lucky that Chris is at home with me, so he is like stay-at-home dad whilst I work, and then when he goes out to do his self-employment, I can then look after our son as well. So I'm really lucky in that respect. But yeah, sales have been terrible, but it's understandable, you know. So I'll show you what I've sold, but there's nothing super exciting in it. Okay, first up, this is a Bowden jumper. It's like a chunky knit roll neck jumper. Cost me £4. It sold for £16, and the profit overall was £9.52. The fees were £2.73. It was not promoted. I'm going to do that with absolutely every single item. I'm going to try and fly through it as quick as possible. This jumper didn't take very long to sell, and I knew that I listed it towards the beginning of summer, and I knew that it wouldn't sell until like end of August, September time. So I'm really pleased that it's gone relatively quickly, all things considered. This is an M&S 100% suede jacket. The style of it was a little bit dated. I thought, you know, I was a bit unsure whether I should pick it up, but I did. I paid £6 for it and it sold for 18. I had, like, you'll see that some of the numbers are a little bit, well, I don't know if you'll see them. I don't know how I've edited the photos. You might see that some of the numbers I've taken quite a lot less. I've had a 20% off sale off my whole entire shop. Just as I said, my sales have been really dire. So to try and increase sales, I put a decent sale on, and I have accepted any reasonable offer as long as there's profit to try and kickstart my shop again. But this sold for £18. And the profit on this was £9.27. The fees were £2.98. And again, it wasn't a promoted sale. It was a promoted listing, but it wasn't that listing that sold. It was the unpromoted version, because when you create a promoted listing on eBay, it kind of duplicates the listing, and the promoted listing is kind of pushed up. I think, anyway. Someone correct me in the comments if I am completely wrong. But, so sometimes it'll sell on a promoted and sometimes it won't. I've had this piece for ages. This is a Triumph jacket. It sold for £27.99. My cost of goods on this item was £6. My fees were £5.35. The profit was then £16.89. and it was a promoted, this one was a promoted sale. Like I said, I've had it for a while. I don't know exactly how long, but I've had it quite a while, and I thought it'd go quicker than it did, but obviously it just wasn't that much of a desirable piece. I've got no idea why this jumper took so long to sell. This is Scamp and Dude, and usually Scamp and Dude flies out the door for me, and I get a really good, like, decent chunk of money for it. This was listed for like £30, I want to say, but I got 20 for it in the end. I paid £6 for it. The fees were £3.23. The profit was £11.02, and it wasn't promoted, so I'm happy enough with that. Just before I went on to maternity leave, I say maternity leave, I didn't really take it, but just before I gave birth, we bought a massive pallet of stock. You might have seen it on my TikTok, on my Instagram, that literally days before I gave birth, we had a pallet delivered and we had to try and unpack it and put it away and organise it. It's a little bit crazy and hectic, but I'm so glad we did, because there was so much underwear in it, and the underwear has been so quick and easy to list. Chris has been photographing it for me, and then I'll just list it whenever I can, and it's been a bit of a lifesaver really during such a like weird time of your life when you have a newborn. It's just been really helpful to keep the shop ticking over. This is one of the items that is sold. This is by Fantasy. It's Fantasy Illusion Bra. It's sold for £23.99, and our cost of goods on these were £4 each. The fees were £3.72. The profit was £16.52, considering it was very minimal work, with it being just a bra. It's so easy to photograph, so easy to throw in a poly mailer. So £16.50 profit I'm really happy with, and it wasn't promoted either, it was just a normal sale. This next item was actually mine. It's a weird fish flannel shirt. It's like a men's XL, I want to say, or 2XL, but I wore it as like a shacket type thing, but I just didn't find myself reaching for it that often. It cost me, when I bought it, £3. It sold for £13. The fees were £2.96. The profit was £7.29, and it was a promoted listing, so you know, £7.29 is okay profit. I usually prefer to be around the £10 mark, but this was mine, so I got a decent amount of wear out of it before I even sold it. These were Chris's. He bought them on Vinted for £30, but they didn't suit his running style. He's just started taking up running again. He used to run, well, he's always ran, but he's taking it up a bit more seriously again. The cost of goods for these was £30, because like I said, he bought them for himself. They sold for £45. The fees were £8.06. The profit was £7.19, and they were promoted. If we were going to buy these to actually resell, we wouldn't be spending £30 on them. But to get £7 profit, and for Chris to have tried running in them, like they were just listed at the same time as all our other shoes were, so it took minutes to photograph them. So I'm happy enough to have actually profited rather than just get his money back. On the same vein, these were also Chris's. He bought them again to try running in. These are Brooks Adrenaline GTS 22. They cost him £15.79 all in on Vinted, and they sold for £30. They were promoted. It was a promoted sale. The fees was £5.67, leaving us with a profit of £8.79. But again, he tried running in them a few times. They didn't suit him, so we got more than his money back, so it made it a little bit worth it. These next two items I actually got gifted for free. I got a big like bunch of stock, I want to say a couple of years back, from a family friend, and I've absolutely loved dealing with them. It really like ignited my love for jewellery. First up is this fox ring. I've kept this myself as well. There was a couple of them, and I kept one of them for me because it's so cute. They're sterling silver, so the cost of goods was £0. It sold for £19.99. The profit was £13 and a penny, and it was a promoted listing. Oh, the fees were £3.48 on that one. And then the next one, this, I just called it a honeycomb full finger ring. I didn't know what to call it, to be honest with you. This did sell once and then got returned because it didn't fit, which happens quite often with rings. People don't quite know their ring sizes and they guess. But this one sold for £17.25. Again, my cost of goods was £0. The fees were £2.42. It wasn't promoted, and it left me with a profit of £11.33, and that was from nothing. Like, that was just free money, so I'm over the moon with that sale. Another other item that actually got returned because it didn't fit, it's this fat face top. I paid £3.50 for it and it sold for £13, so not amazing. The fees were £2.96, sorry. It was a promoted listing, so that left me with profit of £6.79. I probably could have got a little bit more for it. Realistically, I wouldn't pick it up again, but it was because I was accepting any reasonable offer, like anything to try and reignite my sales because they were so poor. So you got to take some sacrifices, haven't you? More trainers that Chris bought. These ones I don't think he actually bought for himself. I think he just bought these ones to sell because he's really enjoying learning about trainers at the minute. These sold for £43. I did actually have them listed, I want to say, for like 60 quid, but accepting reasonable offers. £43 they sold for. The cost of goods was £14.12. The fees were £7.74. It was a promoted listing, so obviously there's higher fees on those. The profit we made on those were £21.39, which is great. I'm happy with that. Like, we've over doubled our money, so that's absolutely fine. I'm actually really happy with this sale because it means that I won't be hanging on to them until next summer. These are M&S linen trousers. They didn't actually take that long to sell at all, because when I bought them I was thinking I probably shouldn't have picked them up because we're coming towards the end of summer now and people aren't looking for linen. I mean, they will sell next year. People are always going to want linen. It's never going to go out of fashion. It's always going to be popular in summer. But yeah, I'm happy that they've gone. They sold for £16. They cost me £5.99. The fees were £2.73. It wasn't promoted, so that left me with a profit of £7.53. Again, not amazing, but to get things moving, I've over doubled my money. So next up is this All Saints dress. This was really popular, but I actually accepted an offer of £25 on it because there was a little bit of a pull to the fabric. The fees were £3.84. The cost of goods were £5.99. It wasn't promoted, so the profit overall on this dress was £15.42. It got a lot of interest. It was Japanese fabric, which I think, I mean, it wasn't silk or anything. It looked like silk, but it wasn't, unfortunately. It was just polyester. But I don't know whether the Japanese fabric kind of made it a little bit more desirable, but I thought it was really nice anyway, to be fair. This went relatively quickly, and I didn't expect it to sit around, to be honest. This is by Woolovers. I love picking up Woolovers knits. I don't pick up anything else in Woolovers, like the jerseys, because it just doesn't go. But the knits, they continue to go really well for me. It was in an extra small, so I was a little bit apprehensive, but it sold. It sold for £23.79. The cost of goods were £4.50. The fees were £4.69 because it was a promoted listing, so a little bit higher again. And the profit was £14.85, and it sold pretty damn quick, so I'm very happy with that. This is gorgeous. This is a mint velvet maxi dress. It was in a size 18 and it was brand new tags, so I expected it to sell pretty quickly. I paid £7 for it. It sold for 40 quid. I think I had it listed for 50, but that's a decent profit, so I accepted 40. The fees were £7.27 because it was a promoted listing, but the profit was still £25.98, so I was really, really pleased with that. I overpaid for this. I bought two, but I overpaid. I paid £4.50, and it's a sea salt, I want to say Trigoning top, Trigoning. I've got no idea, to be honest. But it sold for £14.99. The fees were £2.61, and because it wasn't promoted, I got £8.13. So yeah, I got almost double, but I don't think I should pay £4.50 again for a plain sea salt top. Always look up comps on sea salt because it's tanked a little bit. This monsoon maxi dress I actually bought from a car boot. We went to a car boot. I don't know. I was heavily pregnant because it was a struggle. I was on the struggle bus all the way around. But we don't usually do car boots, and it was really fun. It was really enjoyable. I'm hoping that next year we'll be able to do a few more. But this is a monsoon maxi dress. It was gorgeous. It was really pretty. It sold for £22.99. The cost of goods was £6, but I actually think it was a bit less because I think I had a few items like all in, and I think I paid probably about £4 an item, but I put £6 just because that's originally what they wanted for it, and I can't remember how much I got it all for. The fees were £3.59 because it wasn't promoted, so my profit was £13.65 for that one, and it sold really, really quickly. Then we've got a Gina Bocconi dress. I quite like Gina Bocconi, I'll be honest with you. The dresses are probably the better items to pick up. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't sell for them, but newer label stuff, and obviously this was brand new tags and it was a dress, so I probably would pick them up again. It cost me £5. It was actually a Thrift Plus item. It sold for 50. I think I had it listed for 70, but that was reaching a bit, to be honest with you, and I was more than happy to accept £50 on it. The fees were £8.87 because it was a promoted listing, and the profit was £36.38. So one of my better ones actually for the past month or so, because like I said, I'm just accepting offers. So a £36 profit, I'm really chuffed with. Then we've got some Levi's jeans. These are Levi's 311. They're like skinny grey jeans. They sold for £21.24. They cost me £4. I believe I got these from a charity shop. The fees were £3.37. It wasn't promoted, and the profit was £14.12. And again, they didn't hang around too long. I will always pick up Not Your Daughter's jeans if they're in a decent size. Obviously, if the style is really bad, then maybe not. But these were bright pink, and they were UK size 12, I want to say. They sold for £20. The cost of goods was a £5. The fees were £4.09 because they were promoted. And my profit was £11.16. And I love selling jeans, I'll be honest. I love it. They are dull as dishwater, but they sell, and they're so quick to photograph. They're so quick to list. I just find them really easy, and they just sell really well for me. This is beautiful. This is Wall London, and I believe it was linen or linen blend. It only cost me £2, which if you know Wall London, you know it's a really expensive brand. It was a maxi skirt. It sold for £18.69. I definitely could have got more for it, but again, accepting offers. Cost of goods, I said, didn't I? Yeah, £2. Fees were £3.06 because it wasn't promoted. So I got £13.88 back for that. Definitely could have got more, but when it was only £2, I was just willing to accept any offer. This one surprised me a little bit because when I picked it up, I kind of regretted it instantly as soon as I paid for it. This was mint velvet, like grey glittery vest. It's in like gunmetal grey. It cost me £3, but it sold for £16.99. It sold quite quickly. Mint velvet for me now, the things that I'll pick up, it's either bigger sizes or something a bit more substantial like a dress or a jacket. I will sometimes pick up the jeans again if they're in a decent size, but yeah, I kind of regretted this straight away, but it did sell really quickly. The fees for this were £3.61. It was promoted, and it gave me a profit of £10.63, so I got over a tenner profit from that, and it was just a little vest top, so I'm happy. And then the last item is probably a really boring one, but this is River Island, a River Island blouse, brand new with tags, gorgeous colour. I'm surprised it's actually sold now towards the end of summer because the colour is really summery. It's in like this peach colour. It cost me £5, which I really shouldn't have spent on it, but I was really drawn to it because how pretty it was. It sold for £12, so not a great profit on this piece. Actually, my lowest profit item, and I've left it right till the end. The fees were £2.81 because it was promoted, giving me a profit of £4.44. So I spent more than my profit, but you know, profit is profit. I probably would be a little bit more selective, but I think it was listed for about 17, but I just wanted sales, desperate for sales at the minute, so I was happy enough with it. But £4.44, yeah, ouch for the last one. But profit is profit, profit is profit. It all adds up, doesn't it? All adds up, all pays the bills. All right, so that was 25 sales, recent sales on eBay, not including any of the platforms because it just gets too confusing for me then. It's just easier for me to do it on one platform. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me some feedback in the comments. What do you want to see from me? What do you want to see on my channel? I'm trying desperately to squeeze in time to sit down and film videos because I really want I don't want my YouTube to like die a death. I'm close to 3,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already subscribed, I would really appreciate it. It'd mean the world to me to get to 3k before the end of the year, but I know I need to put the work in as well. So let me know if there's anything you want to see from me or anything that you're interested in. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there and I will see you in my next video. Bye everybody.